So hey, you need to know this JavaScript behavior before you go for your next JS interview round, right? So in this file, I'm like logging few things out, and I'm using JavaScript inbuilt function parseInt, and in which I'm passing some float values, and I'm just logging the output of like every line. And you need to like guess the output of this, and after that I'll run the file and try to understand like what is actually happening here, right? Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll just run the file and let's see what this logs the output. So it like logs 6 zeros for initial 6 lines, and for the last line it logs 5 in the terminal. So what is actually happening here? So before like explaining the output, first let's understand like what parseInt in JavaScript actually does. So parseInt in JavaScript is the inbuilt function of JavaScript, and it accepts two arguments, one of which is an optional argument. So first argument it accepts is an string, and the second argument is a radix value. Radix corresponding to whatever string number we have passed, right? So the first argument will be a number which is in a string, and the second argument will define the radix of that string, right? And the second argument is an optional argument. So if we don't pass anything, in most of the cases it gonna understand it as a decimal radix, right? So here what we are doing, we are passing these float values instead of strings. So whenever this kind of things happen, like whenever we pass a number instead of a string in the parseInt method, what JavaScript will do, it will try to convert those numbers into string value first, and then parses those string out, right? So while converting these float values to string, what is actually happening? So for all the numbers which are like less than uh, which are basically greater than or equals to 10 to the power minus 6, JavaScript will convert them in the string as it is. So like if I could explain you, so 0.5 will get converted into 0.5 itself, right? Obviously the type gets updated to string, right? And 0.05 will again gets converted into string, and the value remains as it is 0.05. So all the numbers which are like greater than equals to 10 to power minus 6, they get converted into string, but the value remains as it is, right? But for all the numbers which are less than 10 to power minus 6, in this case, which is this number, that is 5 into 10 to power minus 7, which is less than 10 to power minus 6, JavaScript, while converting them into string, it will express them as an exponential term, right? So it will get as, so we have 3 zeros, 6 zeros, and then 5. So JavaScript converts, while converting it to a string, it converts it as 5e minus 7, right? So for all the numbers which were like greater than equals to 10 to power minus 6, it gets converted as it is in the string. But for this number which is 5 into 10 to power minus 7, while getting converted to string, it gets converted as 5e minus 7, right? So once it had converted the number into string, after that it will parse those strings. So while parsing also, what happens is that it takes the string digit by digit, and till the point it finds a valid digit, it will convert it into a value, and the point it finds an invalid digit, it will just cut off the operation and print the output, right? So for here like 0.5, it gets the first digit as 0, that is a valid one, then goes to next digit which is point, which is an invalid, so it just prints 0, right? So what is happening here also? And while parsing 5e minus 7, it goes to first digit, which is 5, cool, goes to second digit, which is like e, which is an invalid one, so it just gets the 5 and outputs that 5. So that is what happening here. So that's why we are getting to see 5, right?